think about 12. Try your hardest to think of 12. Because 12 is real significant. Because you're coming out of that adolescence and you're a step away from teenager. And you start to think about some things. Like something is telling you won't be able to play as much no more. But so you deal with your first level of stress, really, because you're like, okay, so now playing is not going to be what I'm doing all the time anymore. And you feeling it, even though you figure I'm too young to have to even feel nothing, but you mean to tell me I can't play all the time now? There's a pain that's saying you got to grow up. Now, how you dealt with that pain at 12 determines if you'll be able to deal with the 18 pain. Because 18 is some pain too. Now you're dealing with, they're saying I'm grown. I ain't grown, but they're going to tell me I'm grown. They're going to make me, I got to be responsible. Can we spend a little more time? Because you take care of me until I really get this thing down? Or you so mad, you're like, I'm breaking out of this mess. But you still dealing with reality is what's out there. And it's all on me. But how you handle 12 will determine how you handle 18. What's determine how you handle 21? What's determine how you're going to handle 28? That's big. 28 is right before 30 when you start to embrace purpose. And depending on how you did 12, you carrying that over to each stage. So you could be 40 and like, I'm not trying to hear none of that pain. Like, as far as I'm concerned, what pain? What growing? We don't have to grow if we don't want to. Growing is overrated. And you'll find yourself trying to numb the pain instead of embracing it. So if you numb it, you don't grow. That's not an option, y'all. We have to grow. So we have to deal with some pain. We think, we sign on to Jesus. Oh, I done signed on to Jesus. Guess what? No more pain. That's not what signing on to Jesus means. It means that you're now attached to what will help you press through every level of resistance and pain that you have to do. You're gonna have, kids sometimes will tell you they're aching because they're growing. Bones and stuff be aching just because they're growing. They don't get, like when their teeth grow, my teeth hurt because they're growing. What are you going to do, knock out the teeth? Oh, I'll fix that. Yeah, you should be fine now, don't worry about it. No, we got to grow. We got to deal with some pain. So we're going to have to embrace some reality to actually cross into our true worth. This is a time of life where God is just wanting his children to recognize their true worth, walk in all their fulfillment and everything he has planned for them. Not to settle for any relationship. Because see, if you know your true worth, you ain't going to just be with anybody. But if you don't know, you be like, well, they like me. Might be the last time somebody liked me. Better jump on that. And her response was, ooh. But think about, that's almost 90% of the people living. They've been so tricked, they don't realize they're a treasure. So their level of operation is, well, I'll settle for this. I'll settle for that. They'll just take a job when they could get a job that really shows their true worth. Somebody will offer them a position like, well, that's a little bit too much responsibility. We don't want to do that. I don't think I can do that. I'll just stay over here where it's safe. Man, I almost had to have people had to lead. Don't want to do that. That's not how God is setting things up. God's like, do you know what I have for you? Are you kidding? How much longer can you go without what's supposed to fulfill you? And how much longer can you keep excusing it on, well, look what they did to me? I did it for years. Matter of fact, my line in life was, Yeah, I'm tripping, but I got it honestly. Look, they left me with strangers. Listen, what you want? I might be bitter, but look at all I've been through. I worked that thing for the longest. When I walked around acting crazy, literally acting crazy, some of y'all will probably attest to this. I felt it was justified. And all of it was fronting, you're in the hood, you act crazy, people just leave you alone. But it was the front. It was just like snapping for no reason, especially when I started drinking. Oh Lord, I was a maniac. Especially in college, it's like, don't say nothing to him, man, he gonna snap. And the whole time I'm walking around, like everybody got my resume. You don't know what I've been through. See, other people can't do this. I can do this, Ray, because I've been through a lot. So no, it's okay. Yeah, I got a card. Yeah, I got a card that says it's okay for me to go off. Now you can't. Like now they got in certain places people can smoke weed legally. I can smoke anger legally. This is my medication. No, I got some medication, man. I can be angry all the time. Yeah, you know what let me show you, because you don't know what I went through. And I'll show you what I went through. Stupid. So what I'm saying is, I can drink poison. I can smoke poison. I'm saying I can destroy my life because they hurt me. It's okay. You don't have to rescue me. I'm fine. I'm allowed to destroy my life because they hurt me. So they hurt me, so I'm inflicting pain on myself, and that's punishing them. And there's people around me that love me, that need me, that are looking up to me, that need my impact, nieces and nephews. But I'm so selfish, soaked in my pain, I'm not realizing I'm creating pain for them. But because I'm pretending they're not there, they're not there. They're not watching me, they can't see. That's dangerous, man, to excuse yourself to walk in a cloak of bitterness. All right, so what we want to do is we want to avoid. This is just like a little warm up here. Again, we're talking about recognizing your treasure despite their tricks, recognizing your real worth. So what we have to do, a part of that, is avoiding the default trap, what I call the default trap. So, and what happens is what we do is we don't recognize when to leave our default. So I used me, and I said, when the Lord told me to take back my choices, I realized how compliant I was and how much I was making decisions based on what other people thought. But so you don't realize it until you decide to change. So the Lord also gave me a revelation. I taught it. It was liberty. 2 Corinthians 3:17, where the Spirit of the Lord is, there's liberty. So freedom. So the Lord was showing me, I need you to live free. Just make the choices and decisions that I'm leading you to make. Don't get bound based on pressure, based on conformity, based on tradition, based on what everybody else is doing. So I'm like, cool. I'm walking in liberty this year. I taught it at the former church, Supernatural Life of Liberty. I remember the teaching. Matter of fact, I was free teaching. It's the freest I ever was teaching. I felt so good. It's like I got this revelation of liberty is talking to people. And you just need liberty. And then I minister to athletes. So when I talked to them, I was like, man, what you need to be out there on the field is you need to be free. So I gave them the scripture. I said, man, just write it on your shoes, whatever. Just walk in liberty. Everything was walking in liberty. But I didn't realize there was layers. So as much as I thought I was free, I would run into situations where I realized I wasn't making a choice. I said, man, so I felt the pain of, I got to make this decision and it's not going to be popular and it's going to be outside of my comfort zone. And then so I peeled the layer off. Like Stella was talking about peeling off the layer. So then I peeled that layer off. I realized there was another level I was bound. I was like, gee. So I worked hard, had to peel that level off. Then I looked, there was another level I was bound. I didn't realize how bound I was until I tried to be free. And and I didn't realize that being bound was a default. So purpose was calling, saying, It's time for you to get where you want to be. That's what purpose was saying. Purpose was like, I designed you for something. Okay, it's time for us to get there. But my default was bound. And my default was like, no. We can't do that right now. It's not comfortable. Everybody's not going to be excited about that. You're going to make some other people comfortable. Wait till somebody else does it. So the Lord give you an idea for a book. So give me an idea for a book. I said, well, I don't want to write the book until such and such write a book, because then I don't want the person to feel bad that I wrote a book. Then it was like, then I might have this idea to do such and such. Well, I don't want to do that yet, because then this person's going to be uncomfortable, and I don't want to make them uncomfortable. Then I was teaching one day, and so I was teaching. It was a bunch of people teaching for whatever reason that week, and so I taught on the tail end. And when I taught, the atmosphere changed. On a positive, the atmosphere changed, and so it bothered me. And see, it shouldn't bother you. The atmosphere changed. God's trying to impact the people. Well, it bothered me because I was like, how are they going to take this? I don't want them to think that I'm all that. I better tone this thing down a little bit. So every time I would get into a certain situation, like matter of fact, the next time I taught, I spent half of the sermon teaching what they were talking about, like reviewing what they said. Just to show them, see, I'm not above that. Yeah, such and such said this. And so then at the second half, I taught what the Lord wanted me to teach. So when I went back in my office, the Holy Spirit was like, what was that? I said, seemed like it's pretty good. People had the impact. He said, no, it wasn't. He said, if I wanted them to teach, they would have had the mic that day. He said, you use half of my time just to make yourself comfortable, because you felt that they would be bothered if you was on full blast. So you doused your light so nobody else will be uncomfortable. He said, what are you doing? I said, let your light shine. Don't put it under a bushel. Set it on a hill. So what's that toning it down thing? And I was toning it down all the time. Like, ooh, that almost really that almost drew attention to me. Don't want to do that. Just let me shift it a little bit, water it down a little bit, So